Hello guys and welcome to another video. So today we're going to be discussing one of my favorite new topics of conversation, and that is the Percy Jackson TV show adaptation, but with a little bit of a twist. So I know everyone is super excited for the TV show, and myself included, honestly. I'm really super excited. Rick just had like a super important meeting a couple of weeks ago, so I feel like new information is coming out soon, which is why I wanted to post this video now, because I want to share my opinion. And my opinion is that the TV adaptation of Percy Jackson and the Olympians should be animated. And not just animated, but animated in 2D animation. For example, like Avatar: The Last Airbender. So yeah, today I'm going to give you guys some reasons why I believe that it would be better for everyone as a whole and for the show to be animated instead of live action. And if I don't convince you by the end of this, well, it's fine, because it's still gonna be live action, so I gain nothing from doing this video. Just finally putting out my thoughts out there so I can get them out of my head and it can stop bothering me. So let's go. I also know that I'm not the only person in the universe who's done this video before, so there's a couple of videos like this out there. So if you want to know someone else's opinion, you just look for it. They're out there, I promise you. But this one's mine, so let's go. Also, if you've been in the Percy Jackson and the Olympians fandom for more than a minute, you've probably seen this video. I'll probably leave it linked out there. It's an animated intro for a supposed Percy Jackson and the Heroes of Olympus animated show, and it is the best thing I've ever seen in my whole life. So that's what I'm basing every single one of my opinions on. So let's go. Opinion number one. The first reason that I believe is the most important why the Percy Jackson show would do better if it was animated are the ages. So, Percy Jackson, first book, The Lightning Thief, they are 12, which means that we would need to hire young actors for it. So, obviously 12-year-olds. But, you know, filming takes time, and it would have to be 5 seasons if we do the whole first series. So that would mean more than 5 years, which would mean that by the end of it, the actors who played Percy and Annabeth, who start out being 12, would most likely be older than 16 or 17 or 18 by the last season, which means that I don't know how age appropriate they would look. Honestly, an 18 to 19-year-old is not that different from a 16-year-old generally, but you can still tell. So that is one of the main issues with it. If we could have one season per year, that would be perfect, but unfortunately that's not how filming works. We have clearly seen it happen. It's taking so long to even have like the cast announced or to get the green light, so clearly it's a slow process. So that's why age-wise it would be so much easier to have them be animated, because that way you can age them up whenever you want and it will be believable. And the age reason leads us to my next opinion, which is that animated would be faster. And to this you say, but unclaimed, animation takes a long time to do, and to that I say, it's true, it really takes a long time. But let me tell you this, casting is so much faster because it's just voice actors. So as long as the voice is right and they do it well, they don't even have to look even a tiny bit like their character. They don't even have to be the same age as their character. So you only focus on voice. So casting process, so much quicker. Everything else is also so much quicker. You don't need to find locations. You don't need to find people to do the costumes, the makeup, the special effects. No, because it's all the same person. It's the artist who does everything. You just need the artist, the voice actors, and the people who do like the music, the soundtrack, and also like a director. That's all you need for that. To make a live action adaptation would mean so much more time. Like, you can see it right now. We haven't even gotten to the casting process. So that's gonna take time. Then the whole filming process is gonna take time. Then the editing process is gonna take time. And then we're gonna start to get trailers. If it does well, that will be the process every single year until we get to season 5. And also, in case you didn't know, child actors can't work like a whole day. So they have limited hours of time they can work each day, which makes sense. They're literal children. So it makes the whole filming process from this long to this long. All in all, animation, much faster. Which leads us to the third reason, and that is that if we did an animated show, we would not get child acting. And okay, yeah, some child actors are good. Some are average, but there are a lot of them that aren't really that good, especially when it comes to action, adventure, and all of the heavy themes that are like packed in the Percy Jackson series. By doing an animated show, you would just need voice actors, and I feel like there's a lot of good child voice actors out there, and also a normal adult can do like a child voice if they're a good voice actor. So we wouldn't even need to have child actors. We could have adults voicing the children in the show. So that would be so much faster and also better for the child actors, because if there's no child actors acting, there's no hate for the child actors, because I know that as soon as the cast comes out, as soon as the trailer comes out, as soon as the first episode comes out, one or all of them of the child actors is receiving hate, because that's just what happens, because they're not good actors, because they're not portraying the character they love well, or because they don't look like the character that they envisioned all of their life. So in order to avoid that, we just take them out of the equation. If we don't have child actors, we don't have child actors getting hate or death threats. So I feel like that's a win-win. Reason number 4 is the looks. Obviously, if you are casting real human beings, it's harder to find someone that looks exactly like they were described in the book and like how a million people have envisioned them ever since they read the books for the first time. And you know, in animation, it's super easy to just follow the description to the letter, and then no one can complain because it's how they describe them. And I think this comes with a positive and a negative. The positive is that it's easier and less people would complain. The negative is that it makes it so much harder to fit in more diversity, because if you cast real people, you can be like, well, even though this person is not exactly like they were described, they might have a different color hair, or different color eyes, or like different color skin or something like that. They might not look 100% like they were described in the book, but they're the best actor for this character. They can act them so well, they basically embody them and everything that they represent, and that would be good because that would add diversity. But you can't really do that in animation, because people would complain 100 times more about that than they already do when it's live action, because you can't give that excuse, because you can just animate someone to look however you want. So that kind of is a double-edged sword. So I get that animation might not be the best for that, so that is why I added that in this point, just so you guys could see like both sides of the story. But then we have reason number 5, which I am totally on board with, and is that the special effects, besides being so much more expensive to do in live action, they're so much harder to do in live action. And honestly, I do not want the special effects in Percy Jackson to look like the special effects in Avatar: The Last Airbending, the live action movie. That would just be a travesty, and I am not emotionally ready to go through that again, because I know it's not the same thing, but what Percy does is basically waterbending. So the effects would kind of look similar, like regardless of what you believe, they would look similar. Like there's no way around it. The two shows are going to be compared once they come out. So I just want it to look good. That's all I wanted, you know. But it's so expensive to have good looking CGI. Just look at the Shadowhunters TV show. So it would be so much easier to just do it animated, because once again, Avatar: The Last Airbender is animated and it's so well done. Like, the bending looks beautiful on screen, it's beautifully animated, and if we could just have that, that would make my little heart so happy. Then we have reason number 6, which is the fight scenes. So if we're talking about a live action, then we're talking about 12-year-olds having to do stunts or needing stunt doubles, because they're obviously not going to do all of their own stunts, they're literal children. having stunt doubles for 12-year-olds, it's much harder because of proportions. So it would have to be like a short person, and I feel like most of the times they would be women, you know, for like size-wise. So it would be kind of easier at least to tell that they're using stunt doubles, and you know, like the fight scenes wouldn't be as believable as if you did them animated, which would be totally believable because they're animated characters. You can make them do whatever you want and they would be like professionals at it. But if you have like child actors doing stunts and fight scenes, then I feel like the fight choreography will be made like more simple so they can remember it and so it looks better on screen. But I want intricate fight scenes, please. It's Percy Jackson. The fight scenes are super important. So that's another reason why I believe animated is far superior to live action. Reason number 7 is the chemistry between the cast. So we all know that Percy and Annabelle start off as friends. So that is an easier chemistry to have between two child actors. Obviously, they are 12. So I believe that they might have like really good friendship chemistry throughout all of the first ones, like the first couple of seasons. But then when it comes to like, especially the 4th book and the 5th book, when they need to make it into romantic chemistry, that might be harder and more awkward for them. Let's go back to Harry and Ginny, who are supposed to have incredible chemistry in the books and who I really shipped in the 6th book, but who in the 6th movie have some of the most awkward scenes I have ever seen in the Harry Potter franchise. Oh my god, they did not have an ounce of romantic chemistry between them. It was honestly hard to watch. Harry had more chemistry with Draco or Hermione than he did with Ginny, so that was hard to watch, man. So I don't want that happening for the Percy Jackson franchise, because I know there's a lot of couples who evolve over time from friendships to lovers. So that just makes me really worried, because I want Percabeth to have good chemistry, okay? And I'm just really worried, man, because if it was animated, the chemistry could be animated, you know? You can create chemistry for nothing. But in the human realm with actual human actors, that's so much harder to do. You can't just have chemistry with anyone, especially someone you've known since you were 12 and you've been best friends with them. So fingers crossed that we'll get lucky on that account, but I'm not too hopeful. Reason number 8 is the locations. So in every show, the locations are super important, and the more locations you have, the more expensive it obviously is. And Percy Jackson, unlike Harry Potter, which usually just happens inside of Hogwarts, is a quest kind of show. And it's also a road trip kind of show. So you can't just have like one Camp Half-Blood set and that's it. You need a lot of sets. Even in the first one, it's so many sets. You have the bus, New Jersey. You have Medusa. You have every single monster has their own lair. Las Vegas, California, Los Angeles. You have so many. The underworld, Olympus. Like, how that location not only means CGI for especially like Olympus and the underworld, but it also means like expensive, because filming outside it's so much more expensive than filming in a set. And a lot of Percy Jackson happens outside because they're traveling all throughout the US. So I'm just worried that we'll just get like 3 important locations and they will not look that good. So honestly, that I just leave that up to the producers, because I'm over here worrying about everything and it's literally not in my hands. So let's get to the last 2. Reason number 9 is that I feel like an animated version of the show would fit the themes and the campy vibes that Percy Jackson gives off way better than a live action remake. The humor that Percy Jackson has as a whole, I feel like it's better suited for animation than live action, because I feel like some of the jokes are just gonna like not land, and I'm really worried about it. Just animation works so well. I feel like people underappreciate it all the time and they're like, it's for children, but Honestly, have you watched cartoons lately? Not only cartoons, there's also cartoons specifically for adults and just anime as a whole. Studio Ghibli. Like, do I need to give you more examples? Like, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Honestly, I don't need to keep going. Which leads us to the 10th reason, and that is that if Percy Jackson, such a huge fandom, was made into an animated series, that would open doors for so many animated adaptations of books everywhere, because people don't appreciate animation as much as they do live action. But if Percy Jackson, of all things, was made into animation, I feel like it would make people regard it better. Like, it would not be underrated anymore because Percy Jackson did it and they did it really well. So that would open doors for so many books to be animated. And I feel like a lot of books, also YA books, could really benefit from being animated instead of live action. Like I said, it's probably less expensive and takes less time. So I feel like, just off the top of my head, the Lunar Chronicles would be an incredible animated show. And you're like, but it's YA, it's not for children. Well, animation, it's not necessarily for children. So that's it, that's my whole argument. Like, anyone can like animation, and animation can be for anyone. So if you don't think the Percy Jackson show should be animated, that's fine, but I still think it should, and these have been all of my reasons why. So please, if you like this video, comment down below if you agree or disagree with me, and why. Subscribe if you haven't already, click that bell button so you get notifications every time I post a new video. I post videos very frequently on this channel, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye!